What's going on, fight fans? Welcome to another episode of the main event. I'm your host, Kalani and with my co-host, Griff and Kemp, back in the saddle. We are here once again. Griff, International Fight Week, my man. It is awesome. Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
UFC 276 live in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. It is going to be a phenomenal showcase of some of the best fighters on planet Earth. Starting off in the main event, UFC middleweight champion Izzy Adesanya, the style bender, defending against fellow Nigerian countryman Jared Cannonier. What are your thoughts on this particular main event, Griff?
Another one. Here comes another one. All right. We got Izzy Adesanya back in the octagon again. He's a fighter that everyone comes out for. Everyone turns on their TV. Everyone gets rid of their date night plans. Not tonight, baby.
Yeah.
The style bender's back.
He's must see. He's must see. Yeah.
So I'm so excited to see him fight, and I'm so excited to see. I don't care. At this point, it's almost like it doesn't matter who the opponent is. Izzy Adesanya is just entertaining from the week leading up to the fight, to the fight itself, and then of course his post-fight interviews.
Of course,
he always lays out the plan for what's next. He's always keeping everyone in the loop. So I cannot wait to see him back in the octagon.
His entrances coming in are just as entertaining. We've seen him come out there, breakdance. We've seen him do the Coming to America entrance. We've even seen the one where he came out as a samurai somewhat. And it's very entertaining what he does. As Griff was saying, and you was pointing out, everything that he does leading into the fight keeps you engaged. Regardless of who his opponent is, you know, with his name on the card, you have to see him. What's interesting, he's taking on a guy in Cannonier. Started off at heavyweight, big boys.
Big old boy.
Moved down to light heavyweight, still okay. Now he's at middleweight. How insane is it to fight in 3 different weight classes, which is already ridiculous enough. Now he has transitioned to say, I'm a full-time middleweight. I've made my name here. I've overcome injuries. I've knocked people out. I've got punching power. All I need to do with style bender is connect one good time, and it could be lights out. I'm very intrigued to see, because style bender, as we know, kickboxer by trade, stand-up artist, will he be able to master a plan to keep Cannonier's speed, not speed, but strength away from him and be able to utilize his technique and skill? It's going to be a very interesting showcase.
It will be for sure. And I actually kind of like the story between him and Cannonier. Usually a lot of these fights, Izzy Adesanya is beefing real hard with whoever he's beefing.
Real hard.
But there's a story about how those two were fighting cage side at a fight once, and Izzy was expecting the worst. Izzy was expecting the same stuff he sees with all these fighters, them talking shit, them coming at him, trying to get their moment and get that shot. But he talks about Cannonier coming up to him being just a chill guy, just having a good night. And he says that's the reason I want to give him this opportunity. I want to give a guy who has respect, a guy who he definitely earns it. He's definitely earned it in his time in the octagon. But he's just a good guy overall. He's done his time. He's someone I respect, and I want to give him that title shot. I think that's impressive. That's a nice little change of pace.
It is a nice change of pace. You took the words right out of my mouth. To see someone like Cannonier, like I said, go through 3 different weight classes, trying to find his groove. Okay, where do I really fit in this world of all these great fighters? Here at 185, I found a nice niche for myself, and like you pointed out, hey, look, it is somewhat nice or entertaining when there is friction. We don't always need that, though. It is nice to say, listen, you think you're the best? I think I'm the best. Let's get in there and find out. One time and do it. And like I said, they're both from Nigeria, okay? So there is that sense of countryman pride. Hey, regardless of who wins, somebody repping the Nigerian flag is going to be holding the title. So there is that. It is a nice change of pace. You speak about style bender always having a plan, a vision for it. We'll get to what possibly that vision could be a little bit later in the card. But we have that as the main event, the co-main event. Griff.
What you got?
3 times is a charm. We've seen these two fight for 10 rounds. I don't know who the better fighter is. We know who's won. I don't know who the better fighter is. Max Holloway, Hawaii brother, going once again to take on Alexander Volkanovski, Alexander the Great. 10 rounds of these two battling. Very close call. You literally could have went either way with the decisions, and it would not have been a bad call. They're doing it a 3rd time. Let's finish this off. Let's get through with this chapter once and for all. Volkanovski is up 2-0, but again, very close calls. You can make an argument. Max won at least one, if not both of those fights. 3rd time, Griff. Alexander the Great, Max Holloway.
Alex Volkanovski has beaten a lot of guys. He's looking sharp. He's beaten Brian Ortega in an absolute war. He put on a showcase against
Yes.
the Korean Zombie. But I just don't care at this point. I know what I saw. I know what happened in that second fight for sure. That first fight could have even been the same way. I'm tired of it, man. I know he looks great. I know he looks absolutely phenomenal. Alexander Volkanovski, it's in the name, the great. But Max Holloway, blessed.
He's blessed.
He's blessed with hands. He's blessed with feet. He's blessed with striking that will not be stopped.
No.
I want the man to come in here, and I hope he has that anger to him. I know Max Holloway, we all know him. He's the chillest man in the UFC.
Probably the chillest you'll ever see.
The chillest you'll ever see. But he also calls himself the greatest boxer in the UFC.
He does.
That man has pride. That
Yes.
man wants to prove to Alex Volkanovski, you escaped him twice. You escaped me twice. These judges bailed you out twice. He's trying to come in here and make a statement. This is my division. I'm going to be the one that goes down as the greatest to ever be in this division. I'm the one who's going to hold that belt. I don't see Max Holloway letting this go to decision the third time. He's going to try and get him out. He understands that it hasn't gone his way with the judges. So I just hope Max Holloway comes in there, makes a freaking statement, and just comes in there ready for blood, ready to do what it takes to get his strap back.
I really do feel everything you just said in that.
Mm-hmm.
With two close fights, you can't let this go to the decision
No.
again. You
No.
cannot let it go to the decision again. But what's interesting, you point out Max doing that. You look at the last two fights of Volkanovski. He's shown a little bit more aggression, a little bit more of urgency to go in there and try to finish. Now against Korean Zombie, maybe the Zombie just had an off night. But boy, oh boy, was that a horrible showing for the Korean Zombie. Volkanovski went in there and ran through him like foreign water through tourists. It was not good whatsoever. It was something that you just said, what did we just see? Why was this matchup even made? But now, seeing the aggression from Alexander, seeing Max in his last fight against Yair Rodriguez, what did he show you? Grappling. Something we really don't see in Max's game. He showed some wrestling, some takedowns. I would like to see, will Volkanovski try to be more aggressive to end it, to show that, hey, I don't need the judges to hand me a victory. I can go out there and finish this guy myself. Will we see Max say, look, if I can't finish you, at least I get a couple takedowns, get some ground and pound, control you on the ground, possibly a submission. I can at least get ahead on points like that, because one thing we noticed in the first two fights, Max gets out to a very good start.
Yes.
But Volkanovski, with those leg kicks, Max starts to slow down. He's got cardio, but you start kicking those thighs and those legs, he's not moving around so brisk. He's not popping in and out so much. That allows Alexander, he starts jumping in and out from his rugby playing days. He starts going to the body, ripping overhand right. So it will be interesting to see whose new style, or at least addition to their styles, is more effective, or do we just see him all out, kind of like Max Holloway when he fought Ricardo Lamas. Point to the ground, nod your heads, and we're throwing fisticuffs.
Right here.
Right here.
Right
One of the
in the
most
middle.
iconic moments we've ever had. I still watch that on YouTube, and I just get, ooh, chill. I'm getting them right now.
It's amazing when he does it.
It's fantastic. It's going to be a great fight. And again, it's the third time that these guys fight. Maybe not the last time. If these guys at some point move up to lightweight, possibly. We'll see. That's all down the line in the future. What's to be held with that division, we'll get to that later on. Earlier in the main event, I said when it comes to Izzy's future, we might know some of those future plans.
Mm-hmm.
That plan, Sean Strickland taking on Alex Pereira. If you guys aren't familiar with the name, Alex Pereira beat Izzy Adesanya in the world of kickboxing. And Griff, he didn't just beat him.
No, he knocked him clean out. It was sleep. It was NyQuil. It was 2 doses of it out. I'll see you in the morning.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
So for Izzy, that is a blemish on his mark. Look, it's a fight game. It happens. But Izzy now is like, hey, I'm in the world of MMA. I've become a champion. I've made a name for myself. Now you're in the world of MMA. You're in the UFC. You're coming up. Mm-hmm. The division is pretty much cleaned out, or guys are injured. I've already, or they've moved on. It's time for me and you to settle this. He's got to get through Sean Strickland first. But Pereira, he's in a position. He goes out there and puts on an excellent performance and wins against a very, very tough Sean Strickland. Next in line for the middleweight champion, if it's Izzy?
I think so. I think there's been rumors coming around that this fight is going to be considered a number 1 contenders fight. And so either are going to get that title shot afterwards, Sean Strickland or Alex Pereira. And it's going to be basically who gets to have that next shot at Izzy. Now, I think anyone who's been paying attention to the fights knows how Izzy's leaning towards who he wants to win that fight. Of course. He ain't got no fear about Sean Strickland, I promise you that. But it's more. But he is one to see Pereira again. He's one. He's heard all the. He's too scared. He thinks he's big time now. He's in the UFC. He's made this big name. He doesn't want to fight me again because he knows I'll bring that all down. Izzy's heard that. He's heard the rumor. He's heard the shit talking. He said, that is perfectly fine. Here, use my name. Here, use our little past history. Get yourself in here. Get yourself to the dance. And I will meet you right there. Mm-hmm. He said it best when I love when Izzy said it. He said, this is my anime arc. This is my hero's arc. I got defeated in those fights with him. I came to the UFC. I became a star. I became one of the top names in the UFC. And just for him to come right back around, get himself in the UFC, I cannot. The way he talks about it, it gets me fired up. It makes me, so. It feels like a great anime, and I cannot wait to see if Alex Pereira can make it through Strickland. Which, if he makes it through Strickland, despite how many little fights he's had in the UFC, I think that shows that he is worthy of a title fight.
Without a doubt.
He gets through Strickland, and if him and Izzy are fighting, and he's up next for that next title shot, it is going to be a banger of a fight.
Well, they both have to get through very tough competition. Sean Strickland is no pushover whatsoever. No. He's somebody who can really play spoiler, throw the monkey wrench into the wheel, and throw this all off course. And then there's a guy named Jared Cannonier who's like, hey, don't forget about me, guys. Don't forget about me. I can come in here and mess things up as well. Things do have to fall in place, but one domino leads to the next one. If both dominoes fall, hey, let's see what's going to be served up for dessert. It will be interesting to see not only Saturday night, but if things play out, what the future will hold for these two right here. At some point, even if it's not the very next fight, at some point these two will clash in the UFC. You have to settle it. You have to settle it. Whether the title's on the line or it's not, it will happen. Speaking of will happen, sometimes there are prospects brought in. Some grow to be fantastic stars. I believe there's an Irishman who was a prospect, and he's turned into a pretty good star. Griff, you might know.
We all know. I think we all know.
Yeah, especially you. Yeah, especially that tattoo on your butt.
Oh, yes, sir.
And there's some who maybe don't live up to the hype or just can't hack it in the UFC. No slouch there. Sugar Sean O'Malley has been a prospect. And he has shown time and time again, like you just said, the sugar show. Mm-hmm. I must see attraction. The colorful hair, the tattoos, the personality, and what I love about him, he's someone that I don't feel he has to be a character. He doesn't have to be animated. He's his natural self. Very chill, laid back, but I'm also not going to back down. If you want to call me out, you want to say something, I'll call it back to you. But when they step in the cage, boy, he is dynamite. He's taking on Pedro Munoz in a very tough match. But this is one of those showcases where Sugar Sean O'Malley can go out there and put on a sugar show. Mm-hmm. Nothing but bigger things on a line film. Potentially a former champion from Brazil. We'll get to that later. But Sugar Sean O'Malley on the card. What do you think?
I see Sugar Sean O'Malley, and I can't help but compare his journey in the UFC to guys like Khamzat Chimaev and Paddy the Baddy. These guys who have big names that UFC, they have a method to the madness. They have a method of putting them with the fighters they put them with. They all have the talks of, oh, why don't they fight ranked guys? Why don't they do this? It's because they are the UFC. See, Dana, big boss Dana sees what he's got in his pocket. He's got stars, potential stars, all trying to get like the Irishman we all know and love. All right, he wants that. He wants to grow them. And the big thing with Sean O'Malley, that fight where he just went rounds against a man's face. Not a man's face. Yeah. Striking, kicking, doing everything he could. You see the striking, you see the talent, and like you said, he's got the personality. He is a show, but it ain't one he's trying to put on. It's just him. Yeah. It's all him. And the way he fights, I can't help but think of a young Conor McGregor. Yeah. I can't help but see the striking and the tenacity, and it's just beautiful to see. I love Sean O'Malley. I cannot wait to see him fight again. And who knows? Maybe he makes that jump that Khamzat Chimaev made, where he says, "I'm tired of fighting the guys, that don't have all that much stock into them. Give me the big name. Give me the Cody Garbrandt. Give me the Jose Aldos. Yeah. Give me the TJ Dillashaw's."
Well, we're at that point in his career where that's what's next. That's what's next for him. If he gets past Munoz, another very tough fighter, that is the next stage. Hey, dude, this isn't boxing. I can't get you 20 fights against no-namers. You got to be put in there against the best. Sugar Sean O'Malley, always a show to watch. This is how stacked this card is. former champion and one of the most exciting fighters ever in the history of UFC, Robbie Lawler, is the opening card on this particular card.
So stacked.
Jim Miller taking on Donald Cowboy Cerrone, one of the most accomplished UFC fighters of all time. Most fights, post-fight awards, performance bonuses, etc., etc. Fought the who's who in his career. His last fight, he steps in on short notice due to Bobby Green not being able to pull through. But Cowboy Cerrone, possible last fight, he's on the prelims. Uriah Hall is on the prelims. Jessica Ai is on the prelims. This is a tremendous card. It's International Fight Week, so it's always something big. We got a lot going on there beforehand. Griff, it is going to be very fun and very exciting to watch. I know you can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch it. And we can't wait for you guys to watch it. But we also can't wait for you guys to come back here to the main event on FranchiseSportsMedia.com. Be sure to tune in, subscribe, and share. Till next time, fight fans. Peace.